In this video, I'm going to analyze two teachers' lessons from the standpoint of INTASC Standard 3, which deals with learning environments and creating environments that support individual and collaborative learning, encourage positive social interaction, increase active engagement, and create self-motivation. The first video that I watched was of a physical classroom, and the lesson was about reading a story and establishing the main idea. I thought she did a good job of creating individualized learning experiences because all the kids could choose a story. I thought she was a little bit weak on collaborative learning. The kids were chatting with each other, but it was not explicitly stated that they should read something and discuss it with each other. So I thought maybe having them pick a story and then discussing it would have increased the collaborative part. Again, not a whole lot of social interaction, a little bit, but it wasn't directly related to the activity. I thought active engagement and learning was, I guess, pretty good. It seemed like the kids were pretty busy. Self-motivation, I can't really comment on. I guess as far as improvements go, number one, I thought she did a great job of identifying, setting expectations in the classroom, reviewing rules, what classroom etiquette was, asking the kids if they needed anything. I did notice she talked a lot at the beginning of class, which I think she lost some engagement just because she was talking for so long that the kids just kind of tuned her out at some point. So I guess in summary, to improve, I would probably maybe recommend that she throws a little bit of information at the kids, maybe lets them loose, then maybe brings them back and talks a couple more minutes instead of just going on a tirade. I feel like she just lost engagement that way and overwhelmed the kids. For the second video, it was a virtual classroom and the lesson was on angles and protractors. As far as creating individual and collaborative learning, I thought she did a really good job, I think, of both. I think she gave the kids some time to work on things independently in small spurts, and then she brought them back in to share. So I think there was a good, a healthy mix of them working by themselves and then bringing it back to center. I thought she created really positive vibes in her classroom. I really didn't hear her ever be negative or criticize or say anything was wrong. She told some jokes about angles. At one point, she had the kids get up and move around to understand the concept of turning 360 degrees, which is awesome. I think anytime you incorporate some physical movement into an activity, it increases engagement. But yeah, I felt like the kids were very motivated. She played a game with them, which I think created a high level of engagement. She let them do some guessing, which they seemed to enjoy. Again, really high marks for engagement. The kids seemed totally engaged. She thanked everyone for being there. I think the only thing she was a little bit weak on was it seemed like the kids were blurting out and interrupting. So whereas in the first video she was very clear about her expectations, in the second video maybe she could have been a little bit more clear about what she expected in her classroom, and then called the kids out for interrupting. So that was really it. But I thought overall she created a really upbeat learning environment. I think both the teachers did excellent jobs. I guess in summary, I think the first teacher could have just been a little bit less wordy and done a little bit less direct instruction, maybe broke her speaking part into smaller, more manageable doses. I think for the second teacher, if she just created a little bit more structure and maybe highlighted her expectations at the beginning, told kids that they needed to talk in turn or be called on first, then she wouldn't have quite as much interrupting and kids just blurting out when they weren't supposed to.